So I wanted to welcome Patrick to the space to talk about Wim Hof breathing and breathwork and cold exposure. So yeah, Paddy first started training with this breathwork and cold exposure over the last maybe...
Since personally 2019.
2019.
And professionally March 2020.
How you first stumbled upon it and maybe just an explanation of what it is would be great.
So how I came across it on my personal journey, and usually what happens with anybody going through life, you come across these bumps in the road. And for me, it was a lot going on. But I could see there was two people in my life that was getting into the sea, and that was my brother Ray and his friend Limo. And every time I came out and work, I would be sitting on the couch looking at the telly, and they'd be coming in fresh to daisy after getting out from the sea. And they'd be going on about it, telling me that I need it and stuff like that. Long story short, eventually then, when my head was up my arse, when I realised how much it was up there, I got right, I'm just going to have to get down. But the funny thing about it is I was cursing everybody on the way down. I was blaming the world and everything. I was blaming my brother for asking me. I was blaming my brother for making me get my stuff ready, towel, shorts, all of that. And even getting into the sea, it was up to my waist in water, and I was still cursing the world. And then I put my head under. What made me actually go under, because of my ego back then, I was reading a book, I don't know if anybody knows Mel Robinson this. No? Mel Robinson, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody hear that concept? You make a decision in 5 seconds. Well, I was using that to chat up women. I was reading the book, and I was like, if I look a girl across the room or in a nightclub, I'm going to use that method, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's where my ego was at that time. But I actually took that concept then because my friend Limo was like, he was backstroking at this stage, just in the middle of winter, going sea dipping. And he's looking at me, he's like, Paddy, Mel Robinson, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I was like, right, I'll do it. So I was like, 5, 4, and before I knew my head was under the water. But when I came up, that was the start for it all for me, because at that point then I could hear the waves, I could hear the seagulls, I could hear laughing. I could actually laugh and smile myself in that moment. But one of the biggest things that was, when I only got to sit down with it later on, was the fact that the sun was setting. And I was like calling out the lads saying, yeah, look at this, like there's the sun setting right in front of us, this is amazing. And they're like, yeah, Paddy, this is what we do. We come down to see the sunset all the time. Like, I'm like, what? And then when I sat with it, I was like, for the whole time I was down there, I did not notice the sun once, and it was right in front of me. So as I was getting into the sea, getting changed and the whole lot, the sun's right there in front of me setting. I didn't notice it once. Coming up to my waist in water in the sea, I didn't notice it once. It's only when I came back up that I noticed everything. And then what it showed me that I was in the present moment. Whereas before I went under, I was in my head, and I was in my emotion, and I was in the past, and I was trying to figure out the future. Where in that second, as soon as I went under and came back up, I was in the present moment, and that's when I noticed everything. And it was that feeling of being in the present moment that I've been chasing for a long time before I could sit in the present moment without chasing it. That came through the breath.
Was that the cold water particularly that just zapped you into the present?
Oh yeah, it was the cold, 100%. That's what's beautiful about the cold. It's like no matter what you're going through in your life, you get into cold water, whatever you're going through is not going to happen. It's going to be you focusing on the cold water. That's the end of it. Like, if you can sit there and you can go through all your problems while you're up to your neck in an ice bath, fair play to you. But more than likely you won't, because you'll be thinking of your breath, and you'll be thinking of getting out, and you'll be thinking of you want to survive. So all of a sudden your issues and everything that's going on in your life gets a break. And maybe you were in that break, in that space of time that you had without thinking about them or feeling them. You're like, well, they're not actually that important. So you can start letting it go little by little. But it was the cold in that moment, 100%, like, brought me into the present.
Yeah, it does
and
that.
Just going on that, the Wim Hof method didn't come around until another 3 months later. And it was because I was getting into the sea. Every day I got into the sea after that. But
yeah, because you talk a bit about how you got from there to the Wim Hof method and then actually going on and training.
Yeah, it was seeing people. Another friend of mine, Richie Lamb, he was doing the Wim Hof. He was talking about Wim Hof. I really hadn't got a clue who Wim Hof was or what he was even doing. And he was doing it the side of the beach, come on, just do it. So I just thought I was doing it completely wrong, the method itself. And then he was inviting me to a Wim rise. Basically, you go down the beach for sunrise and you do breath walk and you get into the sea. He was inviting me down for that. And I was still oblivious to the method, oblivious to what it's all about, and actually sitting with the breath and the whole lot. I was just like, I get in the sea, I may as well join it. So I'm sitting there amongst, I don't know how many people, there must have been 150 of whatever what morning there was, but the sun was coming up and it was Breathe with Neil. He's a Wim Hof instructor as well. He was guiding us all. I was doing it completely wrong. I got this idea in my head that after you do a breath walk, when you get into the sea, it's going to be warm. I was like, no, it was a bit like cold. So I was blaming the breath and not walking when it was actually me. Long story short, I kept doing it. I just kept going to these little morning get-ups and the whole lot. Till one day I said to my brother, I was like, I'm doing this and I'm getting nothing from the breath walk. And he goes, right, which way are you doing it? And he showed me how to do it. And I was like, no, I'm doing it the other way. So just to really quickly say, when you are doing this breath walk at the Wim Hof, when you breathe in, your belly should expand. But when I was breathing in, I was bringing the belly in, so I was doing that. I was doing it backwards, when in fact it's meant to be breathing in and the belly expands, so.
Could you just describe quickly what the actual technique is?
Yeah.
Because you're touching on it there, and I know a couple of people maybe don't have the
so
context.
There's the Wim Hof method, which is breathwork and cold therapy, and then there's the Wim Hof breathing. I'll just touch on the Wim Hof, the breathing itself. So at the end of the day, it's power breathing. Take all the labels away. If you're breathing like this, that's a calm, relaxed breath, but you're conscious, which is it's gonna do something for you. But with the Wim Hof method, it's requiring you to bring in power and speed, pace, rhythm, flow, connection, depth. So it's gonna get you out of your normal way of breathing and into a rhythm that's not normal. So if you can even do it now, if you want to put one hand in your belly, one hand in your chest, but as you're breathing into the belly, it should be expanding. So if you want to do it slowly, and then into the chest. So it's like 2 inhales, 1 exhale. So, and you're filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. You're engaging with the diaphragm, which is also connected to the lymphatic system, which is connected to your parasympathetic, peaceful, relaxed, calm state. So it's belly, chest, and you're filling the lungs right up to the top, and then you're letting it go. You add power, you add speed, you add rhythm to that, and you added a consecutive amount of breaths. They go off, the framework to give you is 30 breaths. So it's 30 inhales, 30 exhales, because it's just to give a framework of it. So 30 it is. Now that's me. Everybody has their own way of doing it. But with the Wim Hof method, you're meant to be connected to a powerful breath. Now I'm feeling the effects of this now. So you will feel effects. The two of the most common things to come up is lightheadedness and a tingling sensation. And when people feel that, they back away from the breath straight away because it's in the unknown. All it is because your body's gone into an alkalized state. As you exhale carbon dioxide, your body cannot be acidic because it's attached to the carbon in your body and in your oxygen in your blood. It's attached to that because you're exhaling it all the way out and you're constantly doing it at a force. Your body has no option other than go into an alkaline state. And when you're in an alkaline state, nothing carcinogenic, nothing stressful, no inflammation can survive in an alkaline state. That's just your breath. Then you add in what you're drinking, then you add in what you're eating, then what you're consuming, becoming the alchemist and all of that. But what I love about the Wim Hof method, because you're going in there with power, force, speed, depth, you're getting the effects of it very quickly. So you don't have to go there and go, I'm doing 2 weeks doing this Wim Hof and nothing's happening. It will happen with the first go.
It's immediate.
It's immediate, straight. There's no messing around unless you're. But if you want to go into the Wim Hof method, it's straight into the deep end and there's no messing.
So the more you invest in, or the more you're involved with the actual breath work, the more you fill your lungs, the bigger the bang your book is.
100%.
Basically.
So if you're reserved, you're going to get reserved response. If you're all in, you're going to get the all in response. And everybody's different. But the two of the most common things to happen is the lightheadedness and the tingling sensation. It's because you're going into an alkaline state, you have physiological change. Your veins and arteries contract, and that can send you a bit woozy in the head. Lightheaded, completely normal. The tingling sensation is calcium ions being dispersed through your muscles. So it'd be like a very light version of pins and needles. And you may feel it on your lips, your hands, it's like a very timid vibration, but you feel it. You're like, oh, gee, I feel that. Two of the most common things, if that was going to happen, it'd be that. Always lying down, or if you're not doing a sitting up in a lotus position, in a seated position, nice and safe. So it's good, 30 powerful deep breaths, inhale and exhale. Then you stop breathing, with the last breath being your inhale, exhale out. And you don't go back to a normal breath, you don't go back to a calm breath, you exhale out and you stop breathing. What that does is it drops the oxygen in your blood and you go into an acute state of stress. We're equipped for acute stress, that's short term. We're not equipped for chronic stress, that's long term. But chronic stress comes onto the body, whether that's a physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, it comes on from something very short and immediate. So whether that's a car crash, you get past the car crash, but that stress is still held on the body, so it's going to come out in some other way down the line. Whether it's emotional breakup or whether that's trauma throughout your life, all short-term little events happened, but the stress of it and the energy of it never got released, so it turns into chronic. What the Wim Hof method does when you go into that state of acute short-term stress, it robusts your immune system, it robusts your cardiovascular system, it robusts your mindset, robust it means it makes it stronger. So you're allowing yourself to go into a state of stress, short-term, acute, consciously allowing it, so you're going to get a positive feedback. And that's because your oxygen is dropping. And as your oxygen is dropping, the carbon dioxide that you have to be dispersing out from the breathwork is starting to come back up. And then there's a shift that happens where your body tells you need to breathe. So it's not like you're lying there, your oxygen is dropping in your blood, you're like, I'm not going to be able to breathe, I'm going to pass out, whatever. So no, your body will tell you to breathe, and you get this urge to breathe then. We then go into a recovery breath. And a recovery breath, you take it in, you hold it.
That's at the end of holding your
breath. Yeah, so at the end of holding your breath, when you feel like you need to take an inhale, we take in a big, deep recovery breath, we hold it, and then we squeeze. Now, you don't have to squeeze, but I get people to squeeze this. And the reason I say squeeze the hips, the belly, and the chest, because it's a lot easier than saying lock in your chakras and align yourself up with your center point and see the universe. So squeeze your hips, your hips, your belly, your chest. And if anybody ever lost your temper, that's basically what I'm asking you to do. You ever see when you lose your temper? And this pressure comes up through the top of the head and you're going to explode. Basically, that's all that is just blood coming up through the body, all the way up through the top of the head. The beautiful thing about doing this with the recovery breath, squeezing the hips, the belly and the chest, that's the easiest way to explain it. But what's happening behind the scenes, your cerebral spinal cord fluid is coming up through the spine, up through the brainstem, into the brain, through the heart. So you're having up to 5 to 10 times more blood flow through your heart, 5 to 10 times more blood flow through the brain. And you ever heard that you got your brain washed? Well, this is the real brainwash. You are literally it's like getting an oil change. You are allowing that pressure of blood, pressure of flow up through the brainstem, the cerebral spinal cord fluid. It's one molecule away from being seawater. And that's what I love that. I love the connection that we have with the sea, if you have it personally. But what's in us is cerebral spinal cord fluid. It's like the taxi for all the magic to happen. And when you do this, you squeeze the hips, the chest, the belly, and you allow this flow of pressure come to the top of the head. That's the easiest way to explain it, but behind it, there's a serious amount of things that's happening. And you can have real deep personal breakthroughs with that, because you are allowing the body to experience something that's out, but it comes from here, and then it brings it out. And that's me. I'm going to be personal story now. From that method, it was allowed. Something came from me that I'm expressing from myself. It's not coming on from anybody else's opinion. Even how I talk and how I think, it's like I didn't get that just by waking up one morning and have it. I got it because I tapped into the breath, and all of this come true. It's like, where did all this come from? Never read a book in my life. And all of a sudden people are quoting me, you must have read that, you must have read that. It's like, I don't think I should be reading books, because as soon as I read books, it's going to stop the flow of what's happening.
I'd love to get into that a bit more, but there's a lot there in what you give. So
I'd love to do a little practice at the end, just a little simple practice.
For sure, we will definitely. But I'm just curious if anyone has any questions so far.
I'm Miriam. I was born beside the sea in the Basque country. So my question to you is that when you do all this conscious breathing, in your mind, do you need to imagine you are in a beach, or what do you think at that time, like when you are concentrated doing this 30? What do you think about it?
So I'm going to do beginners straight generic answer, and then I'll do my own personal one. So the beginner's one would be, if you're doing the breath, if you can concentrate just on the counting, if you can just concentrate, well then you're, and that's it, well then you are 99% ahead of everybody else in society, because they're trying to concentrate on everything else, but you're being present with just counting. So if you're doing the breath work and you're going 1, 2, well then you're in the present moment and all you're doing is counting.
All right.
So whatever what's got, if you can do that, amazing. But on the flip side, if your mind's going 100 miles an hour and you're finding it hard to count the 30 breaths, just be observant. Just say, okay, don't try and battle it, don't try and forget about it, don't try and push it aside. Just say, okay, I'm trying to do this breath work. To yourself, say it, like, I'm trying to do this breath work, and my mind's gone 100 miles an hour, and I'm thinking about bells, I'm thinking I should be up, thinking about this, that, and the other. If I can just get to 30 while allowing my mind to do all that, well then that's great. Because after 30, I'm going to stop breathing anyway. And so exhale out, and then there I am. Even though my mind is still on 100 miles an hour, you're allowing it to happen. Because as soon as you try get into the battle with the mind, you're always going to lose. But as soon as you start just going into the present of what is, and all you're doing is trying to breathe and count 30 breaths, well that's it then. That's all you are focused on doing. If the mind...
You don't have like an external music, like you don't.
Oh yeah, have music if you want. You can do it in silence. The sound of your breath can be the music as well.
No, you know the way when people do meditation and stuff like this, and
Yeah.
with the music on, like, you know, this background music and stuff.
Yeah.
You do that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Paddy's playlists are legendary.
But you,
The reason I'm saying this is because you know how, like, I believe that it's really great. It's just that you have to really, like, say, like, I'm not going to think of anything else, just to count the 30, right?
yeah.
Nothing else.
But if you can do that, that's it, you're ahead of the game. If you can just count to 30 without just being distracted, and you wouldn't believe how hard it is for people to count to 5. But like if you get 30 without any other distractions other than you counting your breaths in and like you're miles ahead. You're enlightened at that stage.
There is some follow-alongs as well that you can do, isn't there?
There's an 11-minute video online with Wim Hof. He guides it. It's 3 rounds from start to finish. When you press play, come the end of it, it's 11 minutes. So the intro and the outro. And in between that is 3 rounds. I still use it today.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And it is, and it has a great follow-along sequence that...
And you'll get guided through it.
Yeah.
Just on that then, you'll get to a stage where you don't need to count your breaths. You'll just breathe. And your body will innately, naturally tell you to stop breathing, and you'll just stop breathing. And with the method, you do stop breathing for a certain amount of time. It could be 30 seconds, it could be a minute, whatever. Before you go into this, I just stop breathing, and I don't count how long I'm lying there for. I just lie there, and then my body says, right, breathe, and I'll do a recovery breath. It's gone from count the breaths, structure, to I'm going to listen to my body. That's it.
Yeah, great. Look, thanks for the question, and you know we can touch on that a bit after as well. So I'd just like to see if there's any other questions before we move on. Like, yeah, just to add the context, you've trained over with Wim Hof for a couple of years to get your certificate in the breathwork practice and the therapy around the ice. So in your process, maybe you can just touch on what it was like for you, the changes you experienced in going through that process, and incorporating breathwork and cold exposure into your life, and what you've seen in other people, you know, who have started to walk that path also.
Yeah, the biggest change for me was being able to let stuff go. So when you tap into the breath, it is literally the bridge between the physical and the spiritual. Like, when you tap into the breath, you are brought into the present moment. That's it. You can't be in the past. You can't be in the future. When you tap into the breath and that is flowing, you're going to be brought into the present moment. So when I was brought there through the breath, like a lot of stuff started coming up, but it wasn't coming up from my attachment to the past or to the attachment of what happened. It just got brought up like it's the total. I'm sitting here, there's the attachment over here, and here's my choice. And it's just like I brought up, and I started looking at all this stuff that started coming up that I was attached to and who I thought I was, all of that type of stuff. And it was like, it gave me a choice to let it all go. And it's like, I want to say let it all go. It's just like, it wasn't like in a one breathwork session, that's it, it's all done. But I knew something was there every time I tapped in, something's going to come up. And it's like, oh, here's that thing. Yeah, that was that thing I wasn't ready for. And now it's like 3 months later, and here it is back up. Yeah, I'm ready for this now. So for me, tapping into the breathwork and the changes and what I brought into my life is being able to let stuff go. And
did you feel immediate relief when you started to get the breathwork down properly? and did it grow with the more you done it?
Yeah, so my mind just opened up, and the breath work it is a channel, man, and your true self will come through, and it's often used, your real self, your powerful self, your true self, all this. It's often used and often heard, but when you actually get the grasp of it, and I understand people who hit a stage of awareness of self that you just don't want to be involved with anybody anymore. You start sitting back and saying, I'm not going back out to society. Like, I just want to be up in a mountain somewhere, because they're happy to be with themselves. And that's all it is. They are just so content and trusting in whatever it is that they're feeling within themselves, that like, this is all I need. And they're grateful that they have a house and clothes. And like, I understand hippies more now than I ever did in my life. Like, they were the most enlightened, happy people ever. They didn't need anything, hence why they were going around with little or nothing. But they were getting casted as bums and nomads, and they had nothing in life. They had everything because it was all coming from them. They didn't need anything else. And this is the thing about the breath. It's gotten to me, it's brought me to a stage in my life that like I'm literally just able to sit and whatever happens, happens. Because it's coming to that letting go of always, just constantly letting go.
So would you describe that as an inner peace with yourself and an inner calm in navigating just the storms and the changes of life?
It definitely, for you to have growth in your life, you're going to have to let something go. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're going to have to forgive something, either yourself or someone. You're going to have to love something, either yourself or someone. It's like, all this is going to come true when you tap into the breath, because the breath holds no judgment, has no past, has no future. It literally is the present moment, and it'll be like, it's only ever going to give you the truth, even if you don't like it. And that's all it's done for me. And every time the truth has come true, and I've faced the parts of the truth that I didn't want to see, it rewarded me with so much. And like, I'm sitting here, and honestly, man, like, it could be the most gorgeous day outside, and I'm happy to be in a dark room with a candle. Like, that's me, but that's where it's brought me. Like, I'm so content with that type of stuff.
Is that common in people who you see who commit to the practice?
Yeah,
finding that.
But you start going quiet.
Like, what is the change, or like the positive changes you notice in other people who start breath work, continue with it, same with cold, compared to maybe where they were at mentally beforehand?
The biggest change I see in anybody is to stop judging people, and it's beautiful. Even when you're holding space, you're just showing how much you were judging before they even arrived. You're showing how much you judge your family, your friends, everything. And the beautiful about what I've seen with people tapping into the breath is that they stop judging people, and that's a massive one for me.
Profound.
Yeah, it's a massive one for me, because
we're always judging.
And it's 100%, but it's no fault of our own. We're born into it.
It's human condition as well.
We're born into it, but we're not born with our breath, yeah? We're told how to breathe, or told how to shut up, and not breathe, especially when we're children and everything else. But when you start tapping into your breath, like, as I said earlier, just as I said it, that whole true self, real self, knowing self comes true. And that's when you're a weirdo, and that's when people are saying you're a hippie, and that's when people are saying you're not the same anymore. Of course I'm not the same, because I was never that. That was something that was put on me, and when that true self comes true, like, it is a beautiful essence of your own life that you're able to experience, and time stops. There is no past or future. There's nothing, it's just now. The only thing that's happening, right, is somebody prove me wrong. The only thing that's happening in the whole world right now is this. Nothing else is happening. Your mind will tell you that something else is happening, and even your emotion will tell you that something else is happening. But it's just a thought. There's nothing tangible. There's not physical. Like, the only thing that's happening in the whole world, and if you can prove me wrong, please do it, is this. That's it.
That's the power.
And when I'm talking about the breath, it brings it into these spaces. I've been sitting in restaurants, and I've started questioning reality. I'm like, is this even the only reason why these people are existing in this room is because I'm aware of them? They're not even aware of themselves, and they're sitting there and they're eating and they're ordering from the menu and all that. I'm sitting there like, the only reason why that person exists is because I'm observing them and I'm aware of them. But as soon as I walk out of that room, that person doesn't exist anymore. This is where the breath can bring you. But this is what I'm talking about, this true self of awareness. You start observing what is around you in the present moment. You don't look past that person in the restaurant. You don't look past the traffic that you're in. It's beautiful. And the biggest thing that comes from it is that you let everything go. With everything that's happening on social media, with everything that's happening on the news, happening in the world, you let
internally.
All
you
go.
know?
All go.
Everything you hold on
All
to.
go. Everything. And for me, forgiveness was the biggest one.
I've got a question, Darren and Paddy. And it's kind of picking up on something you said a bit earlier there about how we're taught how to breathe. Taught how to breathe when we come into the world and stuff. And a lot of the stuff you're saying kind of makes it sound like you become more in touch with your inner child in a way. So I'm wondering what you meant by you're taught how to breathe. Like, are there ways that we're...
Well, the only way we were ever shown to breathe was a breath that goes against us. So if you're emotional, you were told to deal with it, you were told to shut up, you were told that you weren't told something that informed you how to deal with that, wherever it was. So whatever which way you were breathing at that moment, that's how you were told to breathe. You were never told to sit down, relax, take a big deep breath. Just relax. Take another big deep breath. Count your breaths. I often do it with my son. It's like, what age are you? 9. Grand. Take 9 breaths. That's all you need to do. So definitely the inner child. And this is the thing. I don't know, it's beautiful. We could talk about this all day. The breath work will show you how much you want to grow in the future and how much you want to expand, but you will have to go back. You'll have to go back to a certain point in your life when you stop breathing properly. To a certain point in your life when you got told to hold that. And it'll just keep bringing you back. So, and as you're getting brought back forward, the breath will the expansion and awareness to go forward just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then the awareness of self will come in so much so that whatever what happened to you back as a childhood, you'll have nothing but forgiveness for it, you'll have nothing but empathy, compassion, love, that it's not a trauma anymore. And that child, that whatever what happened to that child at that time, you'll just hug and you'll just hold and you'll just love. And then what the beautiful is, you pick that child and say, right, you're coming with me now, let's go. You know? So definitely is growing up, when did you ever get told to breathe, like, properly? When did you ever get told to breathe into the belly as you're crying? When, like, in school, getting bullied or getting shouted at in school, like you're afraid to ask a question and then you get shouted at, or you feel like a dope because you asked a question that was obvious, but to you it wasn't. And which way is the breath? Straight away, don't want to breathe like that, I don't want to ask that question again. And then you're struggling with your homework because you don't want to ask for help because it reminds you of how not to breathe. You know? Yeah,
there's a lot of magic in the breath, clearly. A lot of magic.
It's the purest, I don't know if anybody's into plant medicines or not like that, but it's above plant medicines. It's like, it's number one, ever.
And it's accessible in any
it's
moment.
Free.
It's free as well.
It's free.
Yeah. So, like, thanks for all of that. I'd love to delve into the cold a little bit. You know.
Are you feeling the cold now?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We're in the cold. We're in the cold.
What is some of the cold?
We're going to tap into that.
We have an ice bath around the corner and everyone's going to be jumping in shortly. So I hope you brought your togs. So with this technique that Paddy teaches, the breathwork is one component, but also cold exposure is another component, and that could be getting into the sea. But Paddy actually has an ice bucket that goes down to about 3 degrees, is it?
So I have a chest freezer now.
Chest freezer.
Yeah, so the chest freezer I can gauge it. So if you knock a chest freezer on, it's going to freeze until it's a block of ice. So we have a regulator on it.
It's like a bucket with water.
So you can have an ice bath, which is basically a container. You fill it with water and you throw ice in it. And it,
Yeah. So why should, like, you can see the resistance in this woman here, and you see that in many people when you ask them, you mentioned that you should do cold exposure.
Yeah.
Why should someone do cold exposure?
Think about yourself being stressed and then someone tells you to breathe. Just breathe, relax, calm down. Go away, leave me alone. That stress is still on you. I've seen this and I've done it myself, no matter how stressed you are, no matter what's going on in your life, if you get into an ice bath, and if you are guided into an ice bath, I should say, because if you do get into an ice bath stressed, it's probably going to be 10 times more stressful for you and the worst experience of your life. But if you just allow someone just to bring you into an ice bath and guide you into an ice bath, you will realise that by being in stress, you can control it. So the stressful environment would be the ice bath. Yeah? You then tap into your breath. And your nervous system, really quick, doesn't know anything about your life. It doesn't know that you are going through a breakup, it doesn't know that you're late for work, it doesn't know that you're having an argument, it doesn't know that the atrocities that's happening in the world, it doesn't know anything. The nervous system knows absolutely nothing. It holds no opinion or judgment. It doesn't even know what happened to you as a child, as in your past. The only thing your nervous system knows is your breath. And what I love about how easy it is to prove this is because if you get into an ice bath and you control your breath, and you calm your breath, and you regulate it, and you send a signal to your nervous system, which is the sympathetic, begins with an S, stressed state. Parasympathetic begins with a P, peaceful state. Easiest way to, you're in a stressed state or a peaceful state. If you consciously send a signal to your nervous system, it will send a response out, not a reaction. It will send a response out to your physical body. So you're able to sit in cold water and it's up to your neck. And you're just, you know it's there, but the body is responding to it, not reacting to it. It'll send a response to your mind to where you're able to overcome that. Mentally then, you're able to overcome it and say, right, I'm up to my neck in it. And all I'm gonna do is concentrate on the breath, in and out, and just breathe into that space. That's you proving that you can be calm and relaxed in a very, very stressful environment. Here's the flip side. You could be lying in bed, warm. You're tired and you just want to get into bed. And you're lying there and it's warm and you're safe. And there's nothing stressful. You're looking around, there's nothing stressful and everything's all 100%. But you're jacked up on anxiety, depression, your mind's gone 100 miles an hour. Everything about you is saying stress. Everything about you is saying flight or fight. But look at the environment you're in. It's peaceful, it's relaxed. Yeah, the environment that I only explained there 2 minutes ago, the ice bath, look at that environment. It's a highly stressful environment. But you're able to be calm and relaxed. And why is that? Why is that you're lying in bed, stressed out, worried, going through an emotional whatever, and yet the environment is peaceful, calm, relaxed? It's all because of the signal you're sending to your nervous system. You think it's your brain that's in control. It's not, it's your breath. Because I can guarantee you, as soon as you take control of your breath consciously, it will send a signal to your brain to shut up. And all of a sudden, your nervous system, your parasympathetic peaceful state will start to come into play and you'll start to send a response out, not a reaction. So then all of a sudden you are lying in your bed and you're accepting the depression, you are accepting the anxiety, you're accepting all these labels you have in yourself, but at the same time your body's recovering and relaxing into it. The ice bath gets you from wherever you are in your life, puts you in it and gets you to deal with it like that. There's none of this, we build up on a few levels now, you're dealing with it right now. And the only thing you're going to think about is surviving. And it'll bring in gratitude and it'll bring in happiness that you're out. And you'll start feeling your body, you'll start feeling warm after it because your body's able to produce the heat.
That's all your body thinks about in that moment. You mentioned about how the central nervous system doesn't know what's going on. Yeah. So when you get into that cold water, that's what the body is striving for, is just survival. Is that a part of what just gets you into the present, do you think? Am I right in what I'm saying?
Yeah. So the body will only go into survival mode when it's under attack, and that's again signal to the nervous system. But your body can accept that it is now in that moment switching off. So norepinephrine is released. That's a chemical hormone, a neurotransmitter. Through cold therapy, it's being released. That switches off the blood flow into the legs and the arms, so nothing happens. All your blood flow is staying in your core organs to keep them alive and well, functioning. That there is associated with adrenaline. It's like the cousin of it. So when that gets released, that's sending signals to your body to start to be in protective. So it doesn't have to go into survival mode. So it's in protective mode now. But if you go into a stress state, while you're up to the neck in ice, then it's going into survival. And then it's going to start shutting you down and it's going to go into aftershock, after-drop, hypothermia. It'd be bad news for you. But if you're in that calm, relaxed state while you're in ice, your body's sending out a signal that it's all good and it's able to do what it's meant to do without any panic. Attached to the norepinephrine, because it's a neurotransmitter, the signals, it dilutes stress on the brain. It brings down all the stress, the cortisol, all of that high tempo stuff. It brings it all down. And because of that, it's able to release serotonin, melatonin, dopamine, all the happy hormones.
The feel-good hormones.
And the feel-good hormones.
Chemicals.
And when you come out of an ice bath, you're feeling alive, you're feeling present, you're feeling... Because your adrenal glands are after getting pumped full of norepinephrine, which is related. Norepinephrine, adrenaline, is, and you're feeling like 100 miles an hour. You get this with ice bath up here with adrenaline. Look, it takes it to the top and then it tapers off through the day.
So from what I understand,
so you're feeling great for the rest of the day.
Yeah, from what I understand is that it can increase dopamine up to 250%, which is receptor that's responsible for motivation and kind of feelings of like positivity and balance, I suppose.
Yeah.
And that can sustain itself throughout the day, which is very powerful.
Yeah.
But I think I'm right in saying that I'd love to know, because you've guided hundreds of people through the ice. So you've seen them before they get into the ice, you've helped them get in, and then you've seen them after. Could you maybe just give a sense of the change you witness in people who come into you, or maybe it's at the sea, and you see their state, the state they're in mentally, and where they're at before and after?
It's funny when people come into a space with me, it's like they're always dreading the ice bath. But after the breathwork, they're like, that breathwork was unbelievable, insane. They're not even thinking about the ice bath until they actually had to face it. But when they're facing the ice bath, they feel primed and ready to go for it. But at the same time, I have done this with people that as soon as you walk in with me, I'm not saying anything to you, you're going straight into the ice bath. So they have to deal with it straight away. But the biggest thing I see with people when they go in there is their strength. I see their focus, I see their determination, I see them connecting to their breath, I see them in the present moment. And I ask two simple questions when they're sitting there. It's like, what are you thinking? And the majority of them, if not all of them, they're like, thinking nothing. Grand, you're in the present moment. How are you feeling? And then it's usually, feeling good, yeah, feeling good. Oh, I'm feeling cold. It's like, grand, that's exactly where you're meant to be at that time. And then you do a little test with them. But you see, I don't push anybody to get in. So I always say this to them: if you step into the ice and you're expecting yourself to go up to the neck, but in reality you're only going to your knees or your hips, like that's it. The only thing that's required from you in that moment is to connect to your breath and allow your body to actually embrace that moment. You allow your mind to embrace it. So if it's up to your neck or up to your waist, you may as well be up to your neck in it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you're in there and all you need to do is connect to your breath, because you see people that are like, I'm not doing it right, I haven't gone the far up to my neck and it's not working. So like, if you can just put your hands in, and by the way, your hands is one of the hardest things to put into ice. You don't have to put your full body in. Put your hands into cold ice, past your wrists, and see how long you can take it and connect to your breath, and you'll know all about it. But the sense of achievement, the sense of empowerment, and then you just see it in them, they light up. They're completely, and they don't even not realise how much they needed that. After an ice bath, they're like, oh jeez, we needed that. Like, they're completely in the present moment, which is there and then and now. And they're not even thinking about anything. They're just like, that adrenaline is pumping through them, that fear-go factor, all of it is pumping through them. And I don't have to do anything at that stage. It's like, once they're safely getting in, leave them to it. 2 or 3 minutes is all you need in the ice. That's it, you're done. Like, bring yourself out to a horse stance, connect to your body, connect to your breath. And after that, then you're able to embrace it. And throughout the whole, this is what I'm saying, like, you're going to hit a serious high off this, and you taper off. It's not like a high and then, like, it's not an adrenaline dump. You're going to get that for the rest of the day. Like, your body's going to be wired off that, feeding off that. Your heart rate variability, because you're allowing yourself to be in a stressful environment, your heart rate variability is like a broadband. You only have like 1 gig, and that's all it can take. But all of a sudden, then you're upgrading all the time. Next of all, your heart rate variability, where something stressful and I'll knock that over, your heart rate could be only able for that, getting knocked over. And it's like, oh, clean up, quick. There's a mess. Where I'll be sitting back saying, yeah, be grand, yeah, sound. What happens over time is your heart rate variability and your nervous system gets completely calm to where nothing is happening, nothing stresses you, nothing ticks you off, nothing pushes you over. But if something does come along and it's right in your face, you're able to do this. Give me a minute. And you give yourself a minute. Where the whole idea of taking an inhale and an exhale in a stressful environment is foreign to people. If it's a stressful environment, we all should be stressed. You ask for the fire exits, so it's like, we'll find them, don't worry. Because we have to think and breathe through it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But your heart rate variability, your nervous system, your cardiovascular system, your mindset, it's all being rewired to be in a highly stressful environment and to be calm in that highly stressful environment. Go to a child's party, go to a 1-year-old's party, a 2-year-old's party, up to a 5, 10-year-old's party, and just look at the parents running around after their children, stressed out, wondering why their kids are firing off 100 miles an hour, doused up in sugar, lemonade, the whole lot, and then the kids get blamed on making a mess, on being too noisy. I'm sitting there reading a book, like, you are bringing this on yourself, breathe. Oh, shut up, you don't be telling me to breathe, get out.
I'm conscious of time. We're kind of coming to a close.
We're in the present, Darren. There is no time. There is no time.
From,
We'll get onto that.
I'm going to include all that in the post, and we'll include all those details and get them sent out in email. Yeah. But so my takeaway there, if there's one good reason for everyone here to incorporate breathwork and cold exposure into their lives, is it's going to make them more resilient to handling the everyday stress of life.
Yeah.
And they will become less reactionary to the emotional stresses of life and the inevitable stress that life throws at us. To me, that seems like
it's a no-brainer.
No-brainer, a pretty profound reason to incorporate it. Is there anything you'd add there on why people should take steps to incorporate this, to commit to it,
So for me, when I tapped into the breath and the cold exposure, I exploded. That was it then. I knew I was projecting myself to a path where I was just going to follow my spirit, a spirit that was above me and I was offering myself up. I knew I was going to do. That's me. For all you out here, you tapping into the breath, it's just to get you out of bed. Look at it that way. I'm going to tap into my breath just to get out of bed. I'm going to tap into my breath just so I can do my walk better. Just make it small. It doesn't have to be this whole, how I am. But if you incorporate the breath, so think about when you don't use your breath. Before you speak, do you use your breath? You're taking an inhale, consciously take it in, and exhale out. I'm not going to actually say that because I know it's irrelevant of what I'm even going to say. Do you do that in your daily life? Before you go into a meeting, before you actually go into, I don't know, and you just have to go through your parents' door if they're still with you today. How many, do you take a breath before you walk in? Like, I have to take a breath before I go into this house. Because there's so many triggers. In traffic, do you breathe in traffic? Yeah, stressing over traffic, it's not moving. So you have a brilliant opportunity just to tap calmly into your breath. So it's like, where can you find your breath in your day to day? Keep it that simple. Can you find it with your first breath you take in the morning? If it only means taking one conscious breath in the morning, at least you found it that way. If it means you can incorporate it in other ways, great stuff. Allow the breath to be the breath and let something's going to come in. You see it's going to be planted and all of a sudden you're going to a ceremony and you're getting found within and you're seeing the light. But let the simple breath be the simple breath of, I'm just conscious of my breath, regardless. And then the ice bath, you have ice baths all around you, by the way. Everything's an ice bath.
Shower is a very accessible one.
Well, I'm talking metaphorically, like everything's like everything's an ice bath. Time is an ice bath.
Yeah.
So your car is an ice bath, your bills are an ice bath, your relationship is an ice bath. Every single thing is an ice bath. So how can you train yourself?
Hitting now.
How can you train yourself to be able to deal with these little mini ice baths? Go to a real one. Go get into a real ice bath. Sit in that ice bath. Allow your body to be robust and strong for the mini ice baths that you're going to have to handle after you get out of the actual ice bath. So when you get out of the actual ice bath, your body's at the robust in itself. It's like going to the gym for life. So when you go in there, you're coming out stronger, you're coming out fitter, you're coming out happier, healthier, more centred. So when life does hit you, I was driving up here, I was lost, didn't know where to go. And Darren was on the phone with me. I wasn't stressing. I was grand, I was like, I'll find it, don't worry about it. But there was the row of traffic that I had to go down first of all. It's like, I'm about to come over this road, I was sitting in all that traffic and I had to go all the way back down because there was a bus broken down. But like I got here, didn't I? It was
did.
So it's like, it's those little moments that like, I know I would have been hitting, I would have been coursing everybody, snapping. It was those moments in life, those little ice baths that are always going to get thrown at you for the big ice bath, which is the actual one. And then there's even a bigger one than that, and that's grief, and that's death, and that's all that life throws at you. That's just going to try and cripple it and destroy it. You're going to be able for it. You're going to have tools, and you're going to have support there coming from within. It's a no-brainer for me to tap into the breath and tap into the ice. And if you need help with that, there's people to do it. I'm one of them. This is what I'm trying to do. This is what I do. This is my life. I live this life. And I also teach it and train people. And it's a one and done with me. You don't need 10 sessions with me. It's a one and done. Beards knows the crack. He's up to date. Like one session after me with me, and that's it. You'll have it. It's yours to own. The only reason we'll be coming back to me is because you want to come back. It's nothing got to do with, I can't do it. It's like, no, you actually do. You know how to do it. Ice baths, sea swims, cold showers, tip on the cold shower. Have a warm, lovely shower. Wash yourself in it. Bring the gauge down to a point of like, I can't go any further than that. It's too cold after that. Have that cold shower. Next time you have a shower, bring it to that point and say, I'm just going to notch it a little bit more. Have that cold shower and just keep notching it down until eventually you were like, yeah, I can go all the way. And then there's a cold shower, you're having a cold shower. But your cold shower could be halfway, could be quarter way. Incorporating this into your life, little by little, it will. I can say it because I say it all the time. It will transform something in your life.
And I think with that, let's maybe do a round
Tap
of
into
breathwork.
it.
Yeah. Is everyone up for a round of breathwork with Paddy? Yeah. Listen, and maybe just before we begin, is there a question or two from anyone, or is everyone happy to?
Any questions? Top of the head. The most obvious one is the one that you stopped asking in school.
I was wondering about whether it's cold shower, breathworks, or see the thing. How long do you think in general a behavior like that, because I started with cold showers, it's still super uncomfortable after 2 months, and I'm waiting for that tipping point. I read it's 33 days, I read it's 99 days, I read so many information that are sometimes different than what I hope to be reality. Yeah. So in general, when do you know, like what are the things, what are really like, how do you keep still motivated to still turn the shower colder?
Yeah, so I'm gonna hit you with the shaman guru. What are you holding on to? What can you not let go? So listen, when it comes to the cold, when it comes to a shower, the shower is probably the hardest of all the cold to do.
Really?
Yeah. In the sea, you're getting in. And that's it, you're in the sea. In an ice bath, you're getting in fully. Cold shower, you have to go part by part by part. It's like you've done the front, now I have to do the back. It's like, I got the back, and I have to do my legs, and then I have to do my head. It's like you're constantly reminded of how difficult it is. And it's hard to actually engage and connect with your breath when you're in the shower, when one side is cold, and then you have to go over to the warm side to get that cold, to realise it's getting harder when you go up to the neck. So it's hard to connect to the breath and connect to the actual cold when you're in the shower. What I love about having a cold shower is we have that challenge of like not being able to connect and not being able to really sit and be in it. So I wouldn't be going off the tipping point with the shower, because even for me today, it's not even comfortable. I'm like, shower. Looking at it, it's like, I'll just do it. And then I'll do it. Where I would say for yourself then, if it's really uncomfortable for you, bring it to a point where it's comfortable for you and see what comes up for you. So if you're in that comfort and you're cold shower, that comfort will either tell you, I'm here and now I can actually connect to what's going on with me, or they'll say, no, you can go a little bit more, boom, and you go a little bit more, and then you'll find that, oh, this is uncomfortable for me, but I'm able to sit with it, rather than going the full hog or the whole cold shower, and then you're like, this is just uncomfortable and I'm getting nothing from it. So bring it to a point of where it's comfortable for you and see what comes up, and more likely it's going to tell you to go a little bit more, and then you get that, oh, there it is, and then you'll be able to sit into that. And if you are sitting with the cold and you're in that meditative state, it'll just start flowing for you. 2 to 3 minutes in an ice bath is perfect. 2 to 3 minutes in a shower, perfect. And also, cold therapy starts at around 16, 17 degrees. So we're all getting it now, by the way.
Great, thanks for that. But look, really appreciate it. Appreciate the insight, appreciate the information, and I'm excited for everyone to enjoy around.
And just with all the talking I've done, honestly, the best thing you do is just experience it. Just go and experience it and make your own story with it. Bring your own words to it, bring your own imagination to it. Because this is just coming from me. Do you know what I mean? Look, nobody sat down and told me what to do. I just did it, and all of a sudden this all came. It's like, wow. So imagine we all did that, and you will all come in that space, from here. It's beautiful. So just if you want all the answers, which will end up being acceptance in the end, just do it. Do the breath, commit to it. Do the ice, commit to it, and you will be speaking, and you won't be able to shut up. So we'll do one simple, quick round, okay? I can't force you to breathe. I can only ask you. And I did the little demonstration at the start, and you can't put your hand in your belly, hand in your chest when you're doing this. So it's like that's me. If you're trying to aim to where I'm at, you'd be like chasing it all the time. Find what works for you, get comfortable with it, and then notch it up. Find the comfort, notch it up. Find the comfort, notch it up. As soon as you feel comfortable doing the breath, because you can only expand so much before you're like, I can't go any more with this. That's all the power, that's all the speed, that's all the depth. Like, find it. So start off, Oh, I can go a little bit more. Yeah, I can go a little bit more. And just get into a flow of it and let that flow happen. The breath doesn't stop, so it doesn't go. It's a constant flow. That's what you're aiming for. That's me. But you aim for yours and let it go. And while you're doing that, I won't count the breaths, I'll feel the breaths. We'll use the drum as well for that, for a little background. The drum is a beautiful way of actually leaning into the breath as well. So allow yourself to lean into that breath. I will guide you into when we are going to take our last exhale, and you will exhale out. And you'll stop breathing. And then I'll guide you into the recovery breath, which is you take it fully in on the body, you hold it, you squeeze the hips, the belly, the chest, and you allow that flow to happen all the way up to the top of the head. Don't be afraid to lean into your breath. Honestly, allow this little example to be an experience that you can bring home with you. Let it plant the seed that it intrigues you, you know. There's something there to lean into. If you want to just gently close your eyes. Even that can be hard for you, closing your eyes. Just observe that feeling of why. So big deep breath in and blow it out like you're blowing candles. And back into the simple breath again and let it go. So it's back and forth, simply back and forth. You don't need me to guide you. You know the inhale and the exhale. You want to be able to hear your breath. Whatever physical feeling you're feeling with the lightheadedness, the tingling sensation, allow that to happen. Sink into that. But breathe through it. Don't stop breathing. Don't be afraid to hear the sound of your own breath either. You can breathe in through the nose, you can breathe in through the mouth. Just once the breath is full, conscious and connected, let it go. Don't be waiting around for anything to happen either. Paddy said this would happen, Paddy said that would happen, and nothing is happening. Just simply breathe, 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 breathe. And whatever flow of breath you're in right now, I invite you to bring in more power, more speed, more flow, more connection. So really bring up the tempo, bring up the speed. And allow the breath to take over. So more speed with the inhale and exhale. Stronger inhale, stronger exhale. See, can you make the exhale a little bit longer than the inhale? We're coming to the last 5 big deep breaths. Big deep breath fully in. Exhale out strong. Big deep breath fully in. Exhale out strong. Back in again, fully in. Back out strong. Back in again, fully in. Exhale out strong. Last breath deeply in and hold it for a second. Exhale out gently, 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 and bring it to a simple stop. Exhale out, closing the eyes. Exhale out and stop your breathing. And when you stop your breathing, just allow yourself to be in that space. Don't go back to a normal breath. Just observe yourself in that stillness as you exhale out and you allow yourself to be. Observe your thoughts, your feelings, both the physical, the emotional. Bring in your affirmation if you feel like you want to bring it in. See, can you feel it happy? Do feel the urge to breathe, just breathe. You don't have to though. Just take note that it's there, that feeling of urgency. Taking in 2 big deep breaths, fully in. Blow it all out strong. Taking a big deep breath and hold it. Hold it all the way in, all the way up to the top. Squeeze the hips, squeeze the belly, squeeze the chest. Guide your chin towards the ceiling. Squeeze the hips, the belly, the chest. Squeeze the hips, the belly, the chest. Relax your jaw, relax your face. Seeking to relax your body. And let your breath go. Now just be in that space. Ouch.
Thank you.
Ouch. So let the breath give you the answers, because I could speak all day, not one of it makes sense, but I guarantee you, with tapping into your breath, a lot will make sense.
Paddy, thanks very much for what you're doing. Thanks for coming today, sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, bringing everyone through the breathwork. And
thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. You've brought hundreds of people, maybe thousands of people through this process in Ireland, and you're helping a lot of people. So thank you for the positive impact.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Keep doing what you're doing here. Thank you. Appreciate that.